Greetings, everyone. I'm Eugenie back with another episode of UI's Conversation for Elevation. I have the marvelous Ferron P. Wiley. Who in the world, oh my God, is Ferron P. Wiley? Who are you? Tell the audience who you are, please. Who are you, Ferron?
Immediately, I'm just a guy with a story to tell.
Okay.
People are always asking me what inspired me to write, and how long did it take me to write, and how did you come to get your books together? Well, I don't know that I necessarily ever considered myself to be a writer per se, but I did believe that I had a story to tell. And I, commenced into my free time and sometimes on my work time, and began to put my story to paper. Well, even on a computer screen anyway. And as they say, life continues to happen. And I started off writing my story. It was supposed to be my tragedy to triumph and how Jesus fixed it all. And, I went through all this stuff and now and Jesus saved me. But as we say, life continues to happen. I only printed out one copy of what I had written. And because I wanted somebody to read it, and they were looking it over, reading it. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is so awesome. You got to do something with this. You got to publish it. God's going to get all the glory. God's going to get all the glory. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I was kind of excited that it turned out that, at least for one person, who thought, I turned out to be a pretty good writer as it turned out. But as I said, life, continues to happen. The story continued to progress, and the ending began to change. And I ended up becoming homeless. And I lost all of my electronic copies. And all I had was that one printed copy, and it's a miracle that I managed to keep up with it at all. But through all of my ups and downs, trials and tribulations, homelessness, addiction, all kinds of stuff, I managed to hold on to it. And I came across it about 2 years ago. And I started reading. It was pretty water damaged and smudged and pretty torn up. And I started reading it, getting back into the story again, and I was like, all right, I got to do something with this. If I manage to keep up with this raggedy piece of paper, I need to do something. But I did not feel like typing all that over again. So I managed to figure out how I could take pictures of the pages, and I uploaded them into Google Docs. And it converted it back into editable text, so that I was able to spend the better part of 2018 and 2019 putting it back together, rewriting what I had to, getting it formatted into chapters and whatnot. And, finally, when I got it to where what I wanted it to be, I just Googled self-publishing and followed the steps, went through Amazon because they were free. And the rest is where we are today. I'm just doing all the marketing and trying to get my story out in as many consumable forms as I possibly can.
Well, all right. Well, let's back up a little bit. Can we rewind the tape?
Yeah.
Because you were saying you were doing this at work, so you was taking these people time and stealing their time working on your story.
Jesus. I was a front desk clerk for a agency that dealt with the developmentally disabled.
Okay.
And I worked in the main office, and so answering phone calls and working on schedules and typing letters and stuff. So in between all of that, I would click over to my email and start, clicking away on my story.
So you was still in your, maybe you was working on it. You was still in their time doing your work. I understand. I've done the same.
I was
I'm
getting
just
it done.
messing with you.
I was getting it done.
I'm just messing with you. I'm messing. Okay, so now I had the honor and the privilege of listening to the audible copy of Tabernacle of Lies. Now, first of all, I saw you in the, I think, Black Books by Us or something, that group that we're in.
Okay, yeah. I was
Um,
advertising there. Yeah.
yeah, and I saw that, and now that you saying I need people to support me, and I'm thinking, let me support my brother. So I bought the book, and I was kind of frustrated because I mean, I downloaded it like 6 times, and it kept rejecting me, saying you cannot download this again. Now I am very technical, like I'm just challenged in that area. So I didn't realize that I had downloaded it already. I just had to play this. Instead of me looking forward to trying to play it, I was trying to keep downloading it, right, to play it. Anyway, I finally figured it out. I was getting ready to email you or message you and say, look, bro, I need you to get my money back because I cannot listen. But anyway, I was able to listen to it and it just touched my heart. It really,
Oh, wow.
the journey was so colorful. Just my heart went out to you, but I realized that you're not the only young person that encountered what you went through, but
Absolutely not.
you were bold enough to be transparent enough to tell your story. So I thank you for that. Give yourself a pat on the back for me because there you go. Because you have revealed some things that people are going through on a regular basis, even as we speak, unfortunately, that no one would ever know about it. No one would ever hear about it because, you know, first of all, in the Black community, we do a lot of hush hush. You know, it's a lot of secrets that we just don't talk about. Like, we're not going to talk about this, or this, period. And that keeps us sometimes stuck and hurt because we don't talk about things. So I have several questions for you because first, I do emotional wellness and I'm all about healing from the inside out. So what have you done, if anything, we're going to talk about your story in a minute. We got an hour. What have you done to heal from within, from your first experience that you shared with us on documentation to now? Because you've been through a lot. I mean, you handled it well in the story,
And that's just the first book.
see, I haven't got a chance to read Californication yet. I'm gonna get into that. But I have like 20 books I gotta read and endorse. So I was like, I'm gonna get into it. But what have you done for Ferron to heal from all the craziness, the childhood trauma, the religious dogma, all that? What have you done for you, if anything? You see a counselor, a therapist, what's up?
Well, here's the thing. It is an ongoing process.
Yes. Okay.
And I guess what I have learned over the years is that, you know, of course, Black men are always, and Black women were taught to be, you know, tough and strong and, you know, grin and bear it and keep on pushing.
Right.
And so we do that. And I think that even as a young person and a young adult, while I thought that I had significantly dealt with all of that and put it to the side, and that in my head, this was not affecting me in the way that it might affect other people.
Okay.
However, the anger, um, frustration, self-deprecation, a lot of this was still kind of lurking in the crevices of my psyche and was showing up in unexpected ways. And it was showing up in relationships, showing up in how I viewed myself, low self-esteem. And I think a lot of us who have been brought up in the church and under particular dogmas and teachings, we have a predisposition to blame ourselves, to beat ourselves up, because if there's something going on in our lives, it can't be God's fault.
Right. It's your fault.
It's something
Wrong
that
with you.
you're
Right.
messing up, or you're missing, or there's something that you are not doing right, and either the consequences of your choices are bringing about bad results in your life, or God is actually imposing punishment on you because you have some unresolved thing. You're not praying enough. You're not staying out of sin enough, or whatever it is. It's always your fault.
Oh, right.
And so, while there is some truth to the idea that, kind of garbage in, garbage out, what you spend most of your time with will probably result in, how your life turns out. But there was still something underneath of that. What was driving me to these choices? This idea that I need to experience everything now. That this need for immediate gratification, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here, or I feel like Jesus is coming back and the world is going to end.
Right.
And so, the things I did for myself was a process.
Okay.
So I stepped away from church one or two times. I was put out of church a number of times.
I know how that is.
And that was not for scandal's sake. I was really put out of church a number of times because pastors would insist that I go to Sunday school or to Bible study in order to participate on their ministerial staff as a musician. And so in the course of those classes, I would begin to ask controversial questions.
Such as?
Well, we'll keep it simple.
Yes, keep it simple.
How did they fit 4 million species of animals onto the ark? And how did penguins walk from the North Pole to the Middle East?
Okay, you're just being a young man, a curious young person, right? Just asking simple questions.
And I'm like, okay, this boat is not even as big as the Titanic.
Hold on one second. So Milla said that she did the same thing. So don't judge him. He has to take a mental break. Okay. That's one of the people watching live. Thanks for your comments. Okay. Sorry. People are watching. I'm trying to learn how to navigate listening and watching and reviewing people's comments so we can actually have an interaction here. Because so you had these questions and they were like, get out of here, man. You tripping.
I had been called a heretic.
Oh.
And because I was questioning the infallibility, of the Bible. And so I was causing people to have doubt in this story. So, okay, so if this is a problem, then how much more of it is a problem? And then of course I started asking deeper questions, because, if you're in the middle of a sermon and, you have preachers that tied this scripture with that scripture and they come up with a whole new thought. Well, I would do the same thing. And my question said, okay, so the Bible says over here that I am the Lord your God. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. I change not.
Okay.
And just a few books later, he says, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the earth.
Okay.
Then you go over here to the New Testament, and Jesus says, I and the Father are one. If you have seen me, you have seen the Father.
Okay.
And then he turns around and says, you cannot be my disciple unless you hate your mother
And your father.
and your father and your sister and brother and even your own life. And so if I just take that passage alone, I'm out. Because I
Okay.
am not willing.
To hate my mother and my father.
I'm not. I'm not. But my question was, how do you honor and hate
At the same time.
at the same time?
So what was the answer?
There wasn't one. You got you, and so I didn't get invited back to the Bible study the next week. So
they should have had an answer for you, okay? They really should have. I'm a theologian. They should have had an answer. But okay, so let's just put a plug right there, because the whole purpose of this, the Tabernacle of Lies, and I'm loving this because we have plenty of time to unpack and unravel some things, and I have to probably have you come back. But so, at what point in your journey did you start questioning? Because I mean, in your story, Tabernacle of Lies, you started off very young.
mm-hmm.
You know, young man, and then you shared that you had some concerns and some feelings about who you were at around 4-ish. You know, your identity. So, at what point, because I know you tell your dad to drop you off at the church and everything, at what point did you start questioning God? Because I know we had a discussion before being on air, but at what point, was it always, or was it because it was I know you were just a betrayal, you know, in the church house with the authorities. So is that when things started making you think more, or what? When did it really start changing for you? Because, you know, I guess your story is so fascinating to me is because betrayal in a place where you're supposed to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Tabernacle of Lies. I mean, perfect title. I mean, I have so many questions. Why did you come with that? I mean, like, just come on, Ferron.
Well, I would say I didn't do a whole lot of questioning as a young boy, because you're in that frame of mind where you believe that your mama and your daddy, you know, they love you and they want what's best for you, and so this is what we do as a family, and as a kid, I guess I never thought it was weird.
Okay.
You know, I mean, Pentecostalism can be kind of left sometimes.
Yeah, I was there.
But I have always been a non-judgmental person.
Okay.
And so I never just, you know, when Sister so and so would you know fall out in the aisle and speaking in tongues, and I was just like, oh, this is where we go to church. This is what we do. I didn't really flip out about that.
Okay.
When things started to change for me was not necessarily about questioning God, was more that I started questioning myself after my exposure to church. Because I was like, oh, okay with me.
Okay.
You know, and I talk a little bit about that in the book.
Mm-hmm.
That I had a pretty happy existence with my imaginary friend that came and got in the bed at night, who happened to be a fireman. And
you didn't mind going to bed at night. You didn't have that, right?
And I was good. And so I do remember, well, of course, I don't mention this in the book, but I remember the first time that my brother ever showed me in the Bible Leviticus.
Oh, okay. How did that make you feel?
And that's when I started going, well, so there's something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got saved at 11, I thought that was going to be the end of it. That God was just going to do it.
So you mean the end of the feelings you felt when you were younger? Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Right. because whatever I was experiencing before that point, I just thought now I'm saved like everybody else, and then everything's gonna shift and change, and I'm gonna be all right.
Now, did you talk to someone about that? I mean, I don't know. In the book, I didn't hear anything about that. I just know you just kind of went through the motions of life, and I guess when you went to the church schools you went to, were they Pentecostal church schools?
Well, it was the same church.
Okay.
They operated the school.
So I guess I'm really upset and I'm really crushed because when you get into some issues, the principal pastor took advantage of that moment.
Oh yeah.
Did you think anything about that not being right? I mean, I know you were a kid, you were young, and you kind of liked the things that you were kind of being exposed to, but at the same time, did you feel kind of validated?
Well, yes, and no, because I will say that I'm still a kid, and for the most part, I still like getting away with stuff. And I think that I don't have the weight of oh my God, this happened to me. At
that's good.
12 years old. I don't have that. What I have is, okay, so we're doing this, and you get up in the pulpit and say, we can't do this.
But we're doing it anyway.
And I see you doling out consequences and judgment. And we're doing this behind closed doors. And so this is where I'm starting to see the dichotomy between, they in the old church they used to say, I'm saved all day, no sin have I done. And I said, well, it must be a nighttime thing. So
okay.
I don't know if I lost your feed. You look like you froze.
I'm still with you. You're kind of blurry on me. I'm here. I'm here. I see you.
Oh. It must. I figured that it must be a nighttime thing, or at least it's that kind of thing that we don't want nobody else to know about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to see the duality, and that's when I actually start to question: is any of this what they say it is?
Okay.
We're growing up under the notion that God can fix anything,
right?
But by judging by how we interact, y'all not even trying,
right?
So
no, I mean,
so what is the point of me? Mm-hmm. And so I will say that I could continue through most of my Christian walk with the idea that, okay, this is what we do when we go to church, but evidently y'all can do what you want to do. Now at home, it was very different. My parents were very devout, and they was like I mentioned how mama told me to go wash my hands in the sink 7 times like the lepers to get rid of my wart, My mother believes, and so so I knew that they had significantly bought into the teachings of the church, and maybe it was just that individual,
right?
Maybe.
So, guys who's watching this, if you're watching the replay or you're watching currently, you need to download the Audible book, and I think now you have the actual hard copy, right, of Tabernacle of Lies. Look at that! I need my copy to sign. I need to see some money for that. Y'all see that? So this book, Tabernacle of Lies, it will change your life. It will open your mind. If you have a narrow mind, you should listen to the book. The audio copy was good because I was able to do multiple things while I listened, but I still want a hard copy. And then Californication. Pull that one up. You got that one with you?
Yeah. This is book 2.
Book 2.
Californication.
So if you read the first book, Tabernacle of Lies, he ends up leaving and going with his parents in California. Does that pick up there? Is that see?
Yeah.
You gotta get the books. I don't want to tell you. I'm a spoiler of movies and books because I tell the story. I just do. I'm learning. My husband's helping me become better at this and not, do like, hey, don't tell. I'm like, okay. So I'm trying to be good, but really, Ferron, and those that are listening, whether you're watching the replay, you're watching currently, please support this young man and download the book, buy the books, because it will open your mind up to the hypocrites that use God as a crutch and a cloak. And I say that because, I was ordained a Pentecostal preacher, minister, and I was actually a pastor. So I understand, but my belief and my journey is totally different. And now I did see the hypocritical stuff, but I needed that foundation to get me rounded and rooted and grounded to be who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
But I do realize, I think one of the things that you see a lot of times is having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. I'm thinking that's y'all. Y'all the ones with the form and denying the power because, God is a healer, but we still doing our own, we're making things convenient. And that's in every religious sect. People make things convenient for themselves. And with your book, what you do is you expose the lies in the tabernacle.
Mm.
And I know it's not about that, but at the same time, as a mother, it breaks my heart that this stuff is happening every day. You just happen to be old enough to tell the story, but it's happening every day where people are trusting leaderships and they're entrusting their children and their families to leadership. And then you had your own stuff going on within you from youth to this, and then now what you're experiencing in your life and what you're going through. And this is just my interpretation of the book, okay? Because I ain't.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and straighten me out, Ferron, if you have to. But in that, you discover, where you should have a safe spot. You've been taken advantage of, and how many people, not just young men, but young women and people in general, that I remember my mom used to say all the time. She was in church, and I used to tell her, and people might shoot me after this, I don't know, but she would give her tithes and offering, and I'm not against tithing and offering. I believe I do give and stuff. I told her, I said, Mama, until your faith is there, don't do that. Don't give all your money and your lights get cut off. That don't make no sense, And she was like, but I said, yeah, but so you give all your money, then you come to me for money, or you go to the church and ask them to help you with the money, and they be like, no, you gotta do X, Y, and Z, jump up and down, turn around in circles, and I'm like, okay, so my thing to her, because everyone has their own level of faith, right? And everyone has their own journey. And I told her personally, I said, I may give $1 million, and that's just where my level is. But if you're not there, don't take your bill money and you like to get cut off tomorrow. Don't take it and give it to the church, and then you're gonna get some help and they don't help you, and you sit in the dark. That don't make no common sense. But and so she said to me, because she had, Ferron, are you there? Ferron, are you there?
Yep.
You're stuck.
I'm
You're
here.
frozen. Okay. But she had told me, because she was a survivor of child molestation, and she told me that she felt like she was being molested. She felt like she was being raped in the church. Not physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. So I wanted you to be on the show because a lot of times people's vulnerability get challenged in the places they trust in the most. And I'm not saying, hey, Ferron, hold up. I think we lost you. Okay, guys, if you're watching, we have Mr. Ferron P. Wiley on here. He is the author of Tabernacle of Lies and the author of Californication. And he has he tells his story. Okay, and Miller wants to purchase your book, Ferron, and Ferron is stuck. All right, guys. So thank y'all for watching, and he should be unstuck in a minute. Let's see. Let me see if I can get him. Hold on a second. We're gonna bring him back in. I'm gonna invite him back in, guys. Hold on. Hold your horses. All right. I'm inviting him back in. All right. So he's coming back. No worries. So how can you, here he comes. All right, Ferron, you're back with us, brother. Hey, all right. Yes, yes. So Miller wants to buy your book. She wants to, how can she purchase your books? Can you tell everyone how they can purchase your books?
Absolutely. You can go to fwileymedia.com. That's F as in Frank, wileymedia.com.
It's in the bottom of the screen, guys.
And it will take you to my website. You can scroll down. You can see where it says the audiobook and keep going. You'll see the paperbacks. When you click on the paperback, it will take you to the Amazon page where you can order hard copies there, but also push the audiobook because you can get it right now and listen in. The audiobook is available right now for $12.99. Paperbacks are $10.99, and also you get access to my podcast. You can also get access to some of my gospel music. I have an album up there, and I've got a couple of tracks up there that you can. And there's also a song there called "Let Me Ring It," which is one of the songs that is featured in the Tabernacle of Lies audiobooks. That you can hear in the background there. But if you want to get a hold of the whole song, you can download it there as well.
Okay, repeat that one more time. One more time for people back.
fwileymedia.com. You can go to my website, and the first thing that pops up is the audiobook. Underneath that, you will see links to the paperbacks, which will take you to the Amazon page where you can purchase and order paperbacks of Tabernacle of Lies and Californication. Tabernacle of Lies is available also in an audiobook. That's the only audiobook that I have right now. Working on book 2 in the audio. And it's also available in ebook. And you can also get a hold of some of my music there and connect also with my podcast, The Worth Wiley Show.
And his Worth Wiley Show is hilarious. Okay, I had listened to that. Man, they crazy on there. They are crazy. Okay, you need a good laugh. You need the Worth Wiley Show. They don't hold nothing back, and they be tripping. Okay, so another question is, what little nuggets could you share regarding self-publishing?
Oh, so writing is the fun part.
Okay.
And so there were lots of, late nights. I suggest definitely finding someone who is a good editor, who can look over your stuff, because by the time you look over it 50 million times, it all starts looking the same to you. So I would invest, in my journey, I would invest in an editor. They're not overly expensive. You can find them on Fiverr. Or if you have a good friend who's a school teacher who wants to help you out, exhaust your resources that are people that are close to you and who have your kind of same vision. All right. I also went, I went through Amazon, obviously, and that process was not very arduous at all. You will just need to have your book formatted and put into a PDF. So that you can upload it to the Amazon KDP website. Once you have it uploaded, there is also a cover design program, which you can use your own artwork, or you can use the standard formats that they have there to create a cover, or a combination of both. You can upload your artwork, create your cover, and then once everything is approved and you meet specs on Amazon KDP, your book can be up within 24 to 48 hours. It's really not that hard. Now, the back end of that is the marketing. It's all on you, and you got to make it happen. Be creative. Get a website so people can find you, have a place to go. I would create a separate Facebook page for your authoring, and keep that, because you're going to have to, you're going to funnel people from your personal page to your author page. I think Facebook is, you can't just randomly select people. They have to be on your friends list first before you can invite them to be on your author page. Now I'm an Uber and Lyft driver.
All right.
And so I take advantage of having a captive audience. I advertise in my car. Have little things hanging on the back seat that point people to the website. I got business cards in the door handle, and sometimes I push, sometimes I don't. I'll just ask, "Hey, do you like to read or listen to audiobooks?"
Right.
I just happen to, so I will, and I'll point them in, and that usually generates a interesting conversations. And you have some limits, because it's still, Uber and Lyft's, customer base. So
yeah, you still stealing people. You still stealing people's hours at work. Selling your stuff. Yeah.
I do, but I'm going to take every opportunity I can. Like I said,
I ain't mad at you. I do the same thing.
But also, don't be afraid to, sometimes there were times when I came across stuff in the book that I was like, I needed to not necessarily word that differently, or the punctuation, or I saw there was a space between a word or something. I went back. You can go back in and fix it. You can go back in and fix your PDF and then re-upload it, and then it might be, they'll refresh it within a day. So it's not like, oh, I'm stuck with my mistakes. You can go back in and fix stuff if you need to.
Okay. And good evening, Miss Nona. She said good evening.
Good evening.
And Miller says, I'm an inspiring author. Any advice you want to give me?
Continue to write. Just keep writing. Now, I'll be honest, I'm in a slump right now because this is a series, and I anticipate that there's going to be 4 or 5 books in this series.
Oh, wow. Do tell.
COVID kind of knocked me off my game. But I encourage you that you need to keep writing. Now, since this is my personal story, I'm pretty familiar, with the characters. Now, if you're writing fiction, I imagine there's going to be some character development and things and processes that you're going to have to walk through and kind of live those characters out. And don't be afraid to ask. I would get in groups, Facebook groups that are talking about subject matter that's in your genre, and getting feedback on the topics that are being discussed there, because that will help you kind of formulate your writing around the genre and what people are feeling, what people are saying, and so a lot of times that will help grab your and solidify your audience.
Okay, she said, "Thank you so much for all your help."
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, now back to what we were talking about, the controversy. So when you wrote this book, right? Okay, you're dating yourself. You're dating yourself. Okay, you're dating yourself. I think you're dating me too. Don't do that.
No.
So no, when you wrote the book, how many people was like, "Ferron, are you freaking serious?" Did anybody have rejections to this? Because you told pretty much all. I'm not sure you held back some stuff, but you gave some real specifics. And did anybody be like, "Dang, dude, really?"
Well, that's why I changed all the names.
Oh yeah, okay.
Well, no, I honestly I haven't gotten a whole lot of feedback because people are funny about they'll buy the book but they don't always review it.
Oh, I heard.
And so I think that I will say this: I am a little more surprised at who my audience actually is.
Wow, well, do tell. What do you mean?
Well, because largely people who have been gravitating toward the book have been Black, cisgendered, and transgender women.
Oh, what's cisgender? What's cisgender? What was that?
That's you.
Huh?
That's
That's
you.
me. Okay. What did you call me? What is it called again? I'm sorry.
Cisgendered.
Cisgender. What does that mean? I mean,
that
means
just means biologically you are a female.
Okay, cisgender. You gave me we going to school here, guys. Cisgender women. I'm a cisgender.
CIS. Cisgender.
Cisgender women or women like me. We just naturally born women.
Yes, you're biologically a woman.
Woman. Okay.
And also Black transgender women have been very supportive.
Okay.
Of the book. I thought that Black gay men that are of my age group were going to gobble it up, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I don't know, because the stories are pretty commonplace. But we'll see. I think it's still kind of early in the game.
Okay.
And as I'm also going to be trying to put together a tour, book tour called Blackballed. And we are going, and it is conversations for gay Black men who grew up in church.
Okay, I like that. Well, keep me posted so we can support you. Blackball. So now, back up a little bit. Let's rewind the tape again. I like rewinding the tape sometimes. Okay. Do you think I'm just going to be a little controversial? Possibly, maybe, but you can handle it because you Ferron. Do you think that maybe, just maybe, some you said what kind of men? You said homosexual, black gay men. You think some of them not bonding because it's embarrassing still? They haven't dealt with the reality that people are going to reject them. Because I have a diverse of associates and friends, and some people are still kind of like living the fear of, if I am openly who I am, who's going to receive me, reject me. They still got this church stuff going on in their head. I mean, some people are not as bold as you are.
And you're right. I think that it is not a popular subject, I think, because church culture is so ingrained in us um, that it's almost like to me, it's almost like being a battered wife. I never, it's like, oh, he's not going to do it again. He's not going to do it again. But you run back.
Yeah.
And we run back into these abusive, situations. And it's almost like Stockholm syndrome, that we, how people fall in love with their abusers.
Abuser, right?
And and so many have found a certain level of comfort in that a particular behavior or in that arena, that my message, that you're gonna be okay without it,
right,
is I don't know, offensive, blasphemous.
Most definitely.
And this is me personally. I feel like that a number of the issues that Black gay men have with themselves are rooted in what we have been abused with by the Bible.
I can agree with you on that. I mean, I can see that very simply.
And so when we recognize that piece, listen, I don't wish it on anybody that they come to a place where they lose their faith.
Right.
It was devastating to me when I got to the place where I actually separated myself from the environment altogether. It felt very much like someone I loved very much died.
That's a bad feeling.
And I felt very much like, who am I? Who have I been for the last 50 years? And who am I apart from this identity? Because this is all I've ever known. I've grown up in church. I play for church. I sing in church. I preach in church. And this has been my community, and this is my identity. And now not having that anymore is a very, very scary place. And I don't wish that on anybody, but I also think it is a necessary evil.
Talk about it.
I think it is a necessary evil if we are ever going to be if we're ever going to be comfortable with who we are as gay Black men. I mean, because even the church will try to take that identity away from you, take your manhood away from you just because you identify as gay.
Talk about that. That's important. So even though you've identified that you had gay tendencies since you were like, I think 4-ish. You like
as long as I can remember.
Okay. And you still identify yourself as a man. And you're saying, I mean, to talk about that, because like you said, people take, I mean, I know, Ferron, I'm just saying, you're right. You're my brother, But, so it's just, these are things that people are afraid to talk about. These are topics people are afraid to talk about. And because you have overcome the embarrassment, the judgment, the courtroom, you've endured all that. So you're able to say, hey, look, what else can happen?
Well, here's the thing.
Okay, talk about it.
Everything that we understand about our identity is informed from outside sources.
Right.
So, what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a woman?
Right.
It's really only what somebody told us that is. And there are so many misconceptions about what it means to be a man. For me, a man is someone who means what he says, or says what he means what he says, doesn't have to be mean when he says it. That can have integrity, that he will live up to what comes out of his mouth. That he, on some level, is a provider. On some level, he is cognizant that this world does not exist, I should say, in a vacuum. That I am a part of a larger picture.
Right.
And that I have a responsibility for those that are coming behind me. So all of this stuff about, machismo and I'm going to fight for my man or I'm going to fight for my woman and all of that is outside stuff.
Right.
So in my mind, or today in my mind, we have to be able to define that for ourselves.
Right.
Apart from what anybody else has told us that's supposed to be. And until you can stand up in that, then we can talk about, well, a real man is this and a real man is that. Because it ain't real. It doesn't have any. To me, it ain't got nothing to do with physicality. It don't have to do with having a beard or any of those things. It don't even have to do with having a penis.
All right, Ferron.
Because this whole construct that we have people trying to live up to and fit into these roles and into these shoes that are really don't have any definition of their own. And we said the church talks about one man, one woman, and this is God's order and all these things, but there's only really one scripture in the whole Bible that talks about that. And really at that has to do with being an elder, that he would be the husband of one wife. And that was really more of a practical instruction more than it was a moral one. Because they were still living in times when they could have as many wives and concubines as they wanted. Men could have sex with anybody they wanted to, as long as it wasn't somebody else's wife. And so now we have this, you demonize the sexual activity of having multiple partners, and women are sluts for doing it, and men are praised for doing it.
The whole hypocrite. So speaking of such, we about to run out of time, and this is good. I told you we're gonna be able to get an hour in.
I told you.
I'm just saying. So, because
but real quick, I want to answer your earlier question. Go
ahead.
For me, when things switched, and I was on a pursuit to answer the questions for myself about spirituality and sexuality. That's when I began to ask the hard questions, to do the theological piece, to find out really, does God really hate me? And did he create me to hate me? And if I'm going to hell, then I need to find out why. And it was those questions, when I answered those questions and I found out that the Bible really wasn't blanketly against me as a homosexual person, that's what gave me the liberty to pursue my callings.
And be who you are.
And that's when I became a pastor. And I just said, well, look, now that I know this, now that I know something, y'all can't just tell me. Now that I know something, I went and pursued my callings, became a pastor, and continued to, do everything I believe Jesus wanted me to do. But it was that same courage that I had asking the hard questions about sexuality and spirituality that led me into asking more questions about where the Bible came from and why Jesus white all the time. And so I eventually came to a place where I could no longer in good conscience stand in front of people and teach them that the Bible was a reliable pathway to truth.
That's deep.
I pastored for 10 years. And and of course, that journey will be coming out in more of my writing. And I can't say that I didn't love it. I loved doing ministry. I really did, because there was a dichotomy going on at the same time, because there was a challenge in my own faith happening at the same time. But I loved ministering to drug addicts and people who were living outside, and gay people who were disenfranchised from the church, and throwing gospel drag shows at the church and making church folk mad. And I loved doing all of that.
Oh, you made me think about the part in the book where you dressed up.
I think there's a YouTube of the show still up somewhere. I'll have to send it to you.
Are you send it to me? Yeah, you dressed up as Tremaine Hawkins, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was when I was little.
It took your mom never caught you wearing her wigs and stuff. That was good.
That is my favorite chapter, though. That is my favorite.
That was freaking hilarious. Y'all gotta get the book. This dude goes dressed up because he wanted to dress up. Was it Halloween or something?
Yeah.
His mom was like, had him dress up as a Bible character. He was like, this is lame. So he was determined to be Tremaine Hawkins because he loved the way she sung. So he did a whole switcheroo at the church before his parents realized it, and took his mom's stuff back to her room before she recognized it. That was freaking hilarious. I mean, man, Aaron, you had a very colorful life. I'm telling you.
And I'm not finished. Like I say, life keeps happening. It just keeps on happening.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm blown away. I am, and you're good people. And see, I asked the question at the very beginning. You never really answered it, but yes, me being a life wellness coach about healing from within. What have you done to heal from the childhood? It was really abuse. Point blank, period. You were abused as a child by the church people, by the pastors. I mean, you were abused. So, misjudged. I mean, then when he went to trial, and then you had to come, people just turned their backs on you and talk. I mean, how did you overcome that? What did you do to get help? What are you doing to be okay up here and okay right here?
Well, seriously, the writing helped a lot.
Okay.
It really helped put things into perspective. And I did, even the course of writing and even over those last 2 years of just putting it back together and reconnecting with the story, there was several times where I was just, head down on the kitchen table, just bawling
Oh, okay.
and getting it out. Yes, I have. I've sought out, therapy on different occasions when I felt like I needed it, and I, I really, what really helps is just trying every day to live in the authenticity of who I am.
Okay.
I don't sit there and wish like, I wish that never happened to me.
Okay.
I don't dwell on it as much. I do think about it. I think about how those mindsets are still prevalent and how I'm just going to say it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Talk about it.
They weren't Trump supporters then, but they the same ones.
Right. Okay. I'm right there with you. Okay.
And so when all of that Trumpism started to rise, and I'm sitting back, okay, you all are the ones that told me that lying and cheating and fucking and all this stuff was wrong.
But you were doing it to me.
Right. And then you go stand behind this one and you are still telling me this is the right thing to do. And so that stirred up a whole bunch of other stuff.
Right.
It all just came back up, and now I'm hot about it. So now for the last 4 years, I've been sending them over a message every day because I need to get some stuff out. So I'm glad it's gone, but it reinforced some of the stuff that was going on in my head, and why I arrived at the title.
Tabernacle of Lies. So, question: have you seen your abuser since you have written the book?
Oh no, you'll find out when you read the next book. He passed.
Did he? Okay, he did pass in prison.
No, he got out and started another church.
Shut the front door. What? I gotta read Californication. I gotta get that book to read it. So let me, after the show, I need to go ahead and get my copy tonight so I can get it. I was supposed to get it the other day, but I think I went out of town or something. So I'm gonna get the book so I can read it. But
so yeah, shout out to Mr. Dennis Caldwell, who was the narrator for Tabernacle of Lies. But I'm thinking this next one I might do myself.
Yeah, do it yourself. Yeah, because I'm trying to, because before we ever talked, you and I was trying to imagine you as the narrator, and I'm thinking, this is how Ferron talks, So it's like you'll be able to give the passion behind the story. He did a good job.
I think he did a really good job.
He did a good job. But to actually be the person that's living it, I think it would have been so much better. So good job to you. Do the other one yourself. I want to hear it from your voice. Okay. But guys,
just because Eugenia told me to do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna.
yes, that's right. So, Ferron, tell them again, those just now coming on. Thank you, Ray for joining. Thank you, Shatika, for joining. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Tell them how they can get these books, though, and show them again. Show them books.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Tabernacle of Lies is book one.
Book one, Tabernacle of Lies.
And Californication is book two. These are the first two books in the series. Of Memoirs of Innocence Lost. And you can find them at fwileymedia.com. That's fwileymedia.com. You'll see my big old face pop up and scroll down. The first thing will come up is the audio book, which you can download right now and begin your journey with the Memoirs of Innocence Lost series. Scroll down also, you will see links to the paperback and the ebooks where you can order those from Amazon. Also, hang around and nose around my website. You'll see some of my original music there. And also, you can link up and connect with the Worth Wiley Show podcast, which we are releasing kind of ad hoc, but you'll find about 3 or 4 episodes up there. 1 and 2 are in video, and 3 and 4 are audio. And I'm probably going to be staying audio for a while because, woo, editing video is a booger
Is
it? But I am always looking for new readers and listeners, and I hope that you all will come on out and purchase your downloads of Tabernacle of Lies in audiobook. And you can continue the story if you just can't wait for the audio by picking up the paperback version of Californication and get it all, collect it and put it on your shelf, read it, and definitely review. I would love to hear from you and get your feedback.
Yes, review, read it, get it, support this brother, okay? Because he has broken the chains of shame, and you've opened your mouth. That's important. Open your mouth. That's so important. So, guys, you have been listening to Mr. Ferron P. Wiley, and he is a mess. He is a mess. You've got to listen to his podcast. I was cracking up. Have y'all changed your podcast this last one? I listened to about the woman that became homeless and stuff.
Oh, that was in episode 3. It's still up there. We haven't archived anything yet, but it's all there.
It's crazy. His partners. They was in there tripping. So you gotta listen. Just listen to
the Worth Wiley Show. We deal with news, entertainment, and politics, and Black issues. We try to lift up issues that are facing our community, but we do it through comedy, and we sometimes under the influence of alcohol. So it's a fun show. And just check us out and subscribe. It's on SoundCloud right now. I'm new to the podcast game, so I don't know how to get on everything. Eugene, you're gonna have to talk to me about how to expand my listenership.
I got you. So thank you, Cornelius, for watching. He said the podcast. Thanks for sharing. Ray said that is really hard to do what you did, and she said prayers. How do we get you, Eugenia, on other shows? I'll talk to you about that. You can go to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, through the iHeartRadio app. And I'll talk to you more about it. I can link you and you send me some information after this, Cornelius. Many more blessings to you, okay? Tyler Perry. She calls you Tyler Perry.
Well, bless the Lord. Ain't that wonderful?
I tell you, it has been an honor having you on my show, Ferron. It has been an honor. Thank you for taking this crazy lady's invite and coming on.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we're going to have to keep on communicating with one another and helping you get to the next level, what you're trying to get to, and getting your story out there, because it's a very important story. Your journey is courageous and you did it. I'm sure you did it scared at times.
Well, come on, Lifetime and BET. Let's do this movie.
Let's do it, though. Okay, let's get it. All right, guys, you have been watching Mr. Ferron P. Wiley. All right, on the EY's Conversation of Elevation with your host Eugene Yvette. All right, so y'all tune in next time. Tomorrow we should be. I'm not gonna say we're gonna have tomorrow because I just talked to her earlier, so she may not be on tomorrow. We will see. Y'all know we come on whenever we feel like it, and we just do what we do, and we do it. Always tune in on Monday mornings at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 a.m. Central Time, through the iHeartRadio app, WDRB Media, Pivot Radio with Eugene Yvette. I'm the voice. Hey, you don't want to miss it. Y'all have a great evening, and stay tuned. We got some great stuff coming out. If you want a book of Ferron's, if you want a copy of Ferron's book, link me, reach out to him, subscribe to him, And EY will donate the book to you. So you might get a free book if you want it tonight. If y'all reach out to the book, we will invest. So let us know. All right. We peace. We sign. Peace.